All right. So we made a basic model of a head. We haven't created a nose or anything, and I'm not sure if in this particular video we'll really get into detail of creating the nose. Maybe we'll make the ears and all that good stuff. This is again a really quick modeling video, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of unwrapping the model. Now, in Blender, unwrapping is the process of taking a 3D model's surface, which is this sphere here, and flattening it out in 2D space. So let's go up to UV editing here. And I'm going to unclick that face. You can see it showed up there. And what this is when we're flattening out in 2D space, that 2D space that it flattens out to is called a UV map. And this is where we apply 2D textures, or we paint it, or we do images like that. So what I'm going to do here is in my actual UV window here is I'm going to click this on here, which is a UV sync. Now, if you don't have anything in here, like you don't see anything, that just means your model isn't unwrapped yet. So what I'm going to do is in this view, I'm going to press the A as an Apple key, and that's going to select all of these faces. And then I'm going to press the U like unicorn key, and I'm just going to do an unwrap that's angle based. And what you'll see here is it went ahead and just created this unwrap for me. And I'd like it to face in the same direction. You can see here's the front, and it's kind of going down there. I want it to be more like this, where it's side view here. And actually, we should move this a little bit over later. But anyway, so I'm going to go into this view. I'm going to hit A, and I'm going to hit R to rotate this. And I'm just going to rotate it a little bit like this. And I'm going to press S to scale this down. So just something like this, just so it's straightened out. And I'm going to hit G and just move it up to the corner. And this is going to be my placement in the unwrap of where the head is. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to paint. So actually, let's go back to modeling for a moment. I'm going to hold Alt and just, as I'm rotating, and just snap it to the side view. Hit Tab and go to Object Mode. Select this and just shift it over so that it matches a little better here. So something like that. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I would like to, now that I have it unwrapped, which you can see here, I'd like to actually paint on it to the skin color and then 2 dots. So I'm just going to make this kid a blue kid. And, something like, how the Simpsons used to have characters of different, like purple and all this stuff. So this kid just happens to be blue. So what I'm going to do is in texture paint here, I'm going to select texture paint. And this is the view. And now you can see it turned it pink because this is saying that we don't have a material on here. And that's okay. We're going to make a material. I'm actually going to go ahead and click new. And that's going to give me this create a new image thing. And I'm going to call this kid. Normally in a game you'd call it like kid albedo or diffuse depending on the studio you're at. And I'm going to keep it at 1024 by 1024 because it really doesn't need to be that big. And I'm just going to pick a like bluish tint that's going to be this character's skin color. And I'm going to hit new image, and there it is. The next thing we have to do is actually save this. So I'm going to click this. Actually, where's the folder or my little, let's see. Oh, here, image here. And they used to have like, unless my memory is slipping, I used to have they used to have like I think like a little floppy disk, but maybe nobody knows what floppy disks are anymore. So anyway, I'm going to hit save image. And again, it's still pink. Well, what we have to do is go into this material here. And I'm going to go back to modeling here, just so I have this selected. And make sure I'm in object mode. And I'm going to go back to material. I'm going to hit new. And come on, give me a new material. Looks like it's pausing for a second. I'm going to, Blender sometimes crashes, so make sure you save often. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select the material. So these options up here, you can see wireframe, just shading. This is without texture. This is the material preview. And then I'm going to go ahead and click new, and that's going to apply a new material. And I'm going to name this head MTRL. Okay. Now the thing behind this is if we go in here and we change this color on, if you notice that it's not changing the color, what you can do is hit tab, go to edit mode, and then like make sure face is selected and hit A, and then hit assign. And that'll make sure that it assigns the material to this, because you could assign the material to different parts of this. The next thing you want to do is let's go back to object mode. And over here in base color, click the dot and select image texture. And then on this little image of an image here, select kid diffuse. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and paint this. So I'm going to press 1 on my keyboard, or like I mentioned, as you're rotating, hold the Alt key down, it'll snap. And under this alpha here, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to jump over to texture painting, and let's do the same thing here. And you'll notice it's kind of hard to see because of the white, maybe the black. I can adjust the radius of my brush. See that? And if you have a tablet, even better, it'll actually pick up the tablet sensitivity. And with the color that's black here, I'm just going to paint in an eye. I'm just sort of tracing what's there. I'm going to lightly paint it in some eyebrows, the nose, and the mouth. And there it is. And then let's take our alpha all the way up. And then let's save our texture. So I'm going to go in here and let's go to image and just do save. And that'll save the texture for our character. So what we did essentially is inside of Blender, we texture painted it. We unwrapped our character's head. And then, you know what we can do quickly is, let's go back to modeling really quickly. And what I think I'm going to do is, let's see, is just select, essentially make like a little helmet for hair. So something like this, select that. We can go to hit Alt-Z and then go to shaded mode and we could see inside of here. And what I'm going to do is just kind of grab, by holding shift and selecting, these faces that kind of make that up. And maybe all the way up to the front. So something like this. And I'm going to hit, let's see, shift and then D. Oh, that didn't seem to work. If we could do that again. Let's go to smooth mode here. And let's do shift and D. There we go. And that kind of comes out a little bit. So we've duplicated those faces. And then let's do P, like Paul, and then we're going to separate the selection. And then, so we have our, I'm going to hit tab, go to object mode. So now we have the head. So let's name this head by double clicking. And then let's name this hair. And what I can do is hit S to scale it down just a little bit. So it kind of, you know, it's just hitting S to scale this. And what I want to do next, and then we'll kind of move on. I'll give you guys a break, is let's add a modifier. And we're going to add the solidify modifier. And what this does is if I increase the thickness, you can see it adds like an extra layer. Here, we can play with this offset a little bit. So something like this. You can see it added a little area to the top there. And what I'm going to do here now is go to material mode, hit plus to create a new material. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it all in the same material. I'm going to get rid of this. And then with this head material selected, I believe it's already applied because it's blue. We'll just have to unwrap it, and we'll take care of that in the next video.